Hey traders, Marcello here, founder of the Day Trading Academy. Today we're going to be talking about trading for a living and the ups and downs of being a professional trader. We're here in our trading center in Medellin, Colombia. This is actually where we, train people, and also I've always been actively looking to fund traders as well. So this is obviously where a lot of that happens, even though we do a lot of our training online. I think that the idea of day trading for a living, and obviously a lot of the pictures and everything that you guys see of what it's supposed to be like, right, is the millions of dollars everywhere and the mansions and the girls and all that good stuff. And I think that expresses obviously a part of being a professional trader, but that also doesn't shed a lot of light on the realities, right? First and foremost, day trading is a really lonely business. It's very, very boring. Part of the reason why I think that I created DTA is exactly for that reason. I got a little bit tired of traveling around the world and asking my friends, oh, hey, let's go to Rome or let's go to China. And then I have to work. I can't do this. So by creating DTA and having a community of people, it not only allowed me to not be as lonely, but also have people that I can rely on to get better, right? And continue to improve. So the first thing that I want to let you guys know is that if you're going to learn how to trade, and this is something that I mentioned in another video I did recently as well, that you obviously can make a lot of money. Okay, that's a given. But nobody talks about kind of the ups and downs of the situations that happen when it comes to day trading. I still remember, and I'll kind of explain to you a little bit of my process, or a little bit of some of the highlights that I remember day trading and traveling around the world. I remember the day like it was yesterday. I believe it was a Friday at about 3:47 p.m. That was the image, or the memory that I have, where I was really, really tired of losing money. It took me about 2 years to become consistently profitable, and that's when I decided I wasn't going to lose any money anymore. And the next week, it kind of just seemed like I was telling the market what to do, where I was pointing, or I was actually processing the information. And the difference that happened there that week for me, and this might be different for all of you guys, is I would say that I'm a pretty intelligent person, right? But one of the problems that I have is not being able to focus as intently, or as the word that I'm looking for is viciously, but that's not the word that I want to use. The focus intently, right? An intense focus about what's happening in the market. Because if you don't analyze one thing, or you miss one thing, that will cascade into other things, and that's what a lot of us actually have problems with, right? So I remember that first week I did really, really well, and the feeling of getting to the point where you become consistently profitable, it's a very special feeling, because day trading isn't just a process of starting to make money and having the freedom that comes along with it. I think day trading really is more about us growing as people and us growing as individuals. Way before I started in this industry, I was extremely impatient. I was very undisciplined. I've always had the perseverance, which you need obviously to become a trader. But it took me 8 or 9 or 10 tries to correct my mistake, because I wasn't aware of myself. And I think now, 15 years, next year will be my 16th year going into it, I am much more aware of myself, and that's really something that we have to identify how to do as traders. Because one of the reasons that a lot of traders don't make money is because of their emotions, right? We don't want to look in the man in the mirror and actually admit that we're wrong as people. It's hard to admit, right? Especially men, which are, macho, we're always right. We don't ask for directions. We know where we're going, right? So it's important to kind of understand that, right? And it's important to know that when you are making money day trading, one of the most important things that I can tell you guys is always make sure that you have some kind of risk or protection for yourself. Because we're humans, we're emotional creatures, and if we don't have those limits to allow us to be aware of how we feel and be aware of what's going on in here, then we're just gonna eventually just kind of blow up in one of these tornadoes. And some of the most recent situations that I can remember and I can share with you guys is, I remember very specifically, and I mentioned this in another video, I just recorded it actually before this one. I remember losing over $80,000 in a span of about 12 minutes. It was part my fault, part not my fault, right? Because the internet went out, I couldn't call the broker, the internet on the phone was out, I couldn't use the hotel telephone, everything was out, and this was during the Iran crisis with the oil. So during the oil, you know, I can't remember exactly what occurred, but I remember we had a trade on and it just went wrong and the internet went out, and as soon as you know it, we blew an account, and you know, it was over $80,000. In that instance, I know that it wasn't my fault, but you know, you have to take ownership of anything that you do, because obviously if I didn't have that trade on, or I had the stops where I should have, I would have been kicked out and then I wouldn't have lost as much money, right? Another situation that I remember that it's a bit recent, it was about 1.5 years ago. If you guys have experience with the financial markets, you guys can view a silver chart. And I don't have one here. What I might do is I'll load a chart here and I'll show you guys on the video what I'm talking about. But what I wanted to try to do is I wanted to try and capture the swing up in the futures market, or in I should say specifically the silver market. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to obviously catch the rise that we're seeing now, and I'll show you guys in the video with a monthly chart. That's what I'm loading now to make sure I give it to the video guys. The market kept going down, and I held the bias of what direction the market was going to go, because I knew long term the market was going to go up. I just couldn't nail it. So as the market was coming down, I would buy, and then the market would go and then come down, and then I would buy, and I was leveraging in. And eventually it got to the point where I just admitted to myself that I can't continue to keep leveraging, right? Because I was trading. Obviously, when we day trade, and the strategies that we teach, it's a very strict system with a stop and a target and all that stuff. But I lost over $50,000 on that trade. And I'm sharing these stories with you because I think it's important to be able to understand that this can happen to you guys as well, especially if you don't trade with a system that allows you to control yourself, right? And I think that for me, intraday trading, where you trade every day, in other words, you open a position and you close a position the same day, is the best way to start, because it gives you not only the best practice, because you have more days and more time to practice, right? You're not entering a trade and holding it for 3 days in a swing position, for example, with stocks. But you also have the capacity to make a lot more money in a shorter time frame. So now, obviously, if I'm going to trade long term, I handle a little bit differently, but we always make mistakes. You know, I always tell the traders that we teach, never, ever, ever trade without a stop. Ever. No matter what, doesn't matter, you never do that, and more than anything, you never move your stop either. But obviously, when you trade differently and obviously not following your own rules, you are going to create situations when you are going to lose money. So I've known a lot of traders over the years, and I know a lot of traders that, 1 year might have, if I remember correctly, it was about a $400,000 or $600,000 a year profit. And then the next year he might lose $100,000 or lose $300,000. So the importance of understanding the ups and downs when it comes to trading, this day trading world as a whole, is something that I think has allowed me to really achieve my dreams. Obviously, I've traveled around the world, and obviously the financial markets and the businesses that I own have allowed me to actually do that, which it's been very, very special. I really can't describe the feeling that you guys have when you're able to just pick up and go wherever you want, whenever you want. And if you have a business, you're online, whether that's day trading or whatever the case may be, all you need is to have a computer to be able to work. And obviously you can do that with day trading, you can do that with other things as well. That I would say is probably, the top thing, or the best thing that I've experienced. I still remember the moment. If you guys don't know my story, I've traveled around the world for about, I want to say 8 years now, 7 or 8 years. I have been to over 100 countries, even Antarctica. It's a continent, not a country. All 7 continents. I've lived in 12 countries spanning 5 continents. I've done so much, and thanks to day trading and what's that allowed me to do, with the money I've made and other businesses as well that I've had, I think it's something that's really special. So I wanted to do this video just kind of explaining those different situations and try to allow you guys to understand that even if you're starting in this day trading world, I think that it can be done. A lot of the master traders that we've trained have been consistent for a really long time, but I also want you guys to know that it isn't all great, right? It's not just you learn how to do this and a week later you start making $1 million. That's not the way this works. It may take you guys a lot longer to learn. I know some people that quit their jobs, they leverage themselves, and Lana, one of our newest master traders, first female master trader, because obviously I love women that can do this as well. She I hope Lana doesn't mind me sharing her story, but she thought that she was going to be able to do this. She bought a new house, new car, completely over leveraged her stuff, and then it took her a lot longer to learn this than she thought it would. And obviously it's something that I want you guys to know, because if you are going to walk into this world of day trading, you are going to be able to make a lot of money, obviously, but at the same time, don't bet the farm on it. Don't do it all at once, because obviously it's a risky business as well. It's not guaranteed that you guys are going to make money. You guys, at the end of the day, have to perform every day, right? And if things affect you, obviously it's going to affect your performance over time as well. So what I would recommend is do this on your spare time. Start making a little bit of extra money. Eventually, when you have a nice big war chest, you can do this full time. And then from there, obviously, you can become a successful trader and do it consistently over time. And whatever your definition of freedom is, whether it's spending time with your family, and in my situation, it's just having my freedom in general, spoiling my mom because of the sacrifices she made to raise me. If you guys know my story, I've come from a third world country. I had to borrow money to trade because I didn't have any. So I wish you guys the best of luck. I hope you guys like this video. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Mark them with hashtag AskMarcello, no H, double L's, and we'll talk to you guys soon.